Okay, so this woodland is a plantationised ancient woodland site. PAWS, usually written in capitals. And I can tell it's that because basically I'm standing beside these, which are larches. There's a drop branch with some cones. This is on the roadside. And I'm standing beside this tree, which is a field maple, which is an ancient woodland indicator in context. There's lots and lots of hazel all the way through. There's another larch, see it tall and straight. You can't really see its canopy because it's way above the sub-canopy of the hazels. And over here, even though it's the wrong time of year to look at woodland flowers, spring is obviously a lot better. Got stinking iris, it is Iris fetidissima, and I think this is field rose. Both of those are ancient woodland indicators. Can't be certain of that because it's not flowering, and I'm not that good a botanist. There's great sedge, which is a so-so indicator of ancient woodlands. But all ancient woodland indicators must be taken in context. Finding a couple doesn't mean you've got an ancient woodland. All the way through here at the right time of year, you've got bluebells. I can't see any sign of those at the moment. So you've got a lot of different ancient woodlands. And the larches, which are not native to Britain, say it's been planted. If we walk through here, because I've been here before, I was here last November. Another larch here. And you can see its crown on this one. So tall and straight. Larches are one of the least worst, shall we say, trees that you can plant in to an ancient woodland, because they shed their leaves in the winter, deciduous conifer, and also they can be a little bit valuable if you're going to use them on your site for things like fencing, because the timber's naturally durable. So we're going to walk through here and stop a little way on. Someone's done some chopping here because there's been some storm damage. And there's the original site boundary fence. You see it? Right, talk to you in a minute. This is a few yards further on. So what I was looking for, this is an oak stump, not especially huge. You see the heartwood here, there's sapwood around the outside. This may have been cut 30-40 years ago. Sapwood of oak tends to hang around, the heartwood of oak tends to hang around quite a long time. This one may well be an ash. See, it's still starting to regrow, or trying to, but the deer keep killing it. And that may be part of this one. And then here we've got another oak stump, and this one, you pull it up, is really, really large. This has been a very big tree, but that's been gone a very long time. So what I think we had here was another one there, smaller one, and another one here. So what I think we had here, it's an ancient woodland. And I think this was hazel coppice under oak standards, which are now all gone, all been felled out. At the same time or similar time that the oaks were felled out, basically the place was planted up, probably over a completely felled woodland with conifers, which are a mixture of larch and Norway spruce. This one's a Norway spruce. And that one's a Norway spruce. And that one's a little volunteer Norway spruce. And here's another very, very big oak. Here's a GoPro housing for scale. And you can see, hopefully, that that's large. Why is this important? Why is a plantationised ancient woodland site getting me all excited? Because basically it's an illustration of the decline of the older way of thinking about woodlands, the woodmanship tradition. There's another oak stump. And the transition from that to more forestry. Forestry came in as a way of thinking about woodlands at the time John Evelyn wrote his book Silver, which ushered in a new way of thinking about woodlands. Felling, planting, felling again, and using different species. The only native forestry, inverted commas, conifer in the British Isles is Scots pine, which is not native to southern England. Sure, it was there during the Ice Age, or sorry, just after the Ice Age, but as things warmed up, as other plants colonised and other trees colonised across the Channel Bridge from Europe, so Scots pine got chased northward, except for little holdouts. People think it stayed on as a native in the Brecks of Norfolk, where the soil is very, very sandy, rather dry and nutrient poor. So you've got this story of different species coming in, but that stopped when the English Channel broke through. I think from memory, because this isn't scripted, and I'll have to look it up and contradict myself in the description if I'm wrong. I think the English Channel broke through about 30,000 years ago. So from then on, through the Mesolithic, which is basically hunter-gatherers doing clearings with their woodland for hunting. They know they were doing that because there are Mesolithic remains with structures built from very similar age timber of the same species, and that could only have arisen realistically from coppice, or clearing hunting areas and re-clearing hunting areas and using what they cut, through the Neolithic, where coppice increases, into the Iron Age, through the Bronze Age. People were basically managing woodlands and clearing woodlands for agriculture, but they were basically managing the woodlands by cut and then cutting regrowth. There's an old saying, to get coppice you cut coppice, and that kept going all the way through, with changes starting to come in around the time that Henry VIII started passing statutes to say that when you fell an oak tree you must plant 12 others, with penalties for not doing that. And that's basically the run up to the Industrial Revolution. Changes in woodland management increased in rapidity alongside parallel changes in the agricultural economy of Britain, all the way through into the 19th century. So by the time the 20th century rolls around, in the First World War, with all the young men going to the Flanders fields and never coming back, and therefore removing the last of the cheap labour that was often used to manage woodlands, with the parallel rise of forestry, changes got quicker and quicker. About that time you get plastics, more and more factories, the infrastructure for industry powered by coal rather than wood, as had been previously the case with the Romans with their glass making and iron industry down in the Weald. Basically all the changes are cumulative, so there's less demand for coppice products, and coppice products were myriad just from hazel, and they become more expensive even with cheap labour in comparison to manufactured product. And also your skilled workers willing to work out in the woods in all weathers on piece rates, producing things like chair legs and other parts of chairs in the beechwoods of High Wycombe. They declined, so more and more things against coppice. Forestry is coming in at the same time, and the profits to be made from forestry, especially where the scale is large, were greater with less effort. Every 7 years for hazel you need to basically organise your auctions, sell the stuff standing, make sure the people who do the cutting do a good job. So forestry is a better way if you're a large landowner. And at the same time as all these changes in the agricultural economy and the woodland economy are happening, you've got the enclosures, which moves the emphasis more from small scale production to large scale by fewer and fewer landowners. So that's why this site's important, and what I've shown you is important, because this is a living link, being a plantationised ancient woodland site, to those changes which are part of our collective heritage. And a lot of people actually forget that these things have happened. So what I'm going to do now is go back to the start of this woodland, which is Loxley Wood, and we'll have a look, or another look, at part of the woodland and see what I would do to manage this site. Talk to you in a bit.